I'm Sushreeya, and today we are going to be talking about a very magnificent topic, and it's a secret between you and me. So promise not to tell anybody, okay? Because everybody has secrets, especially about this earth. But this is a very important one, and you and I are only going to be able to talk about it, okay? So promise not to tell anybody, okay? Unless you know that we're going to keep the secret very well, okay? So now, let's get into the topic. But can you guess what it is? It's the secrets of the earth. Now, this is very magnificent, so let's start a discussion, okay? So, now as you can see, you must be wondering, how do we know a lot about our ancient ancestors? And not only that, our prehistory is only about 3 million years old. And believe that, the earth also has its own age. Pretty interesting, like we have our own age, right? The Earth's age is 4.54 billion years old, and that's a lot. It must have been existing for a huge long time, right? But long time ago, when our ancient ancestors were going, there was no writing of records that happened during their time. So how do our scientists, how do they know if they can support their ideas? Now we are going to have to find out. That is basically the secret, okay? Many of us believe, which is kind of true, that they look at the bones or the rocks, the fossils that had been used or that was living a long time ago. Now let's get a little bit into the secret, okay? This is where it starts, so don't tell anybody this part, okay? Now, let's see reading the rocks, because many scientists support their ideas with reading the rocks. Let's go a little bit with that, okay? Now, as you can see, during the Industrial Revolution, this revolution had took place between the late 18th century to the middle 19th century, okay? So, we have to talk a little bit about this, okay? You can see there were a lot of industrial revolution during this point. Great engines were digging the earth, finding fossils, finding rocks, studying. Many scientists who had gone to this earth to study the fossils dug with the great engines, and they found about all this technology and stuff that basically they got really inspired with rocks. With these rocks, they studied. Then, learning about our ancient ancestors, they began to learn a little bit about them during the Industrial Revolution when the great engines dug. All they needed to do was dig more, and then scientists are still doing what we are talking about right now. So some scientists can be studying right now, and then as we do this, we knew a lot about our ancient ancestors. Do you see, friends? Now, let's talk a little bit about the fossil record, okay? So, as you can see, the fossil record is basically, where you study fossils and take a real record of it. And what you do, basically, is when you study fossils, your brain tries to record in the mind. If you can't find fossils, I have an easy trick later that I will talk about soon, okay? If you can't find a fossil, please follow the trick, okay? Now let's talk a little bit about our evolving Earth, okay? This is the main secret, so please keep this as a secret, okay? So am I, okay? So now you can see the Earth. There were these, legends, and these are actually not legends. That long time ago, there was one supercontinent, or continent, okay? Now, that's actually true. Many people believe it was just Africa. That's what I was believing when I was a little younger than right now. We are totally wrong. It's actually called Pangea, okay? Now, a lot of people believe when Pangea, it was actually into little continents that nobody had named that became Pangea. And as you can see, now what we call South America, Africa, and Europe, and Australia, that was part of Pangea, there was this reptile that fossils are mostly found in that area, and that part, which was the southern hemisphere of Pangea, was kind of living in that portion. Now, if we go a little forward, then it split into two other ones. Now, when it was Pangea and when there are these two continents, they was believed as this little legend that we really think it's true, and nobody knows. It was surrounded by one ocean. Now, when it broke into another, it was Eurasia and North America. Then, when it split, it was South America, Africa, Europe, and Australia. Then, it became into Antarctica. Now, they have changed the name of Eurasia to Asia. Now, since they've changed the name, our 7 continents have appeared, but they are still colliding and moving plates. So, until the next 250 million years, the Africa, it's going to bump into Europe. Then Australia is going to also bump in as it's moving. It's going to make a new supercontinent, which is Pangea Ultima. This is going to be our new supercontinent, but it's not really going to happen until a real long time, okay? But as you can see, like the Earth is evolving when we, whereas our Stone Age ancestors, with this, humans are also evolving. Remember I told you this little trick? Let's talk about fossils. Remember we said that the scientists, how they didn't only study rocks, they studied the fossils, the skeletons, and the stuff of our own ancestors and dinosaurs and stuff. Remember that? As we can see, remember when I talked to you about the fossil record? We can use some of that, but first, basically we have to know, how is a fossil formed? A fossil is formed, so there's the animal, like it can be our Stone Age ancestors, it can be the dinosaur. Let's take an example. Most of all, usually it's a dinosaur. It falls, and it's in like some soft sand and stuff, and it's covered by ash or landslide. Then, if it occurs to go in some water body, maybe usually, which is a creek, a lake, or some kind of river, a brook, if it's not moved at all, like maybe the water just moved it a tiny inch, it's not really going to become a fossil. So it can't move at all. Then the land might turn as it's moving upside down. Then as that happens, the skin is going to peel off and it's going to become a skeleton. Now the last step is, where you see it's like upside down or sedimentary rocks, I'll talk to you about that. Like many scientists, they dig and they find it. That's basically, and then you find the skeleton of it because it's probably not alive, right? Now remember I told you tricks? And I told you just now, I'll tell you about sedimentary rocks. You see those rocks that have those little clear or looks like glass kind of thing in the rock? That's what a sedimentary rock is. So if you find those, maybe dig and you'll find one. But if during a Stone Age, if it recently fell, but it wouldn't happen right now because dinosaurs lived a long time. But just in case, when it was Stone Age time and they dig, if it recently happened, you shouldn't really go and dig in that spot because it might get a little dangerous, right? So we don't want to do that, right? Some stuff are magnifying lens that you can see underground, because if it's a little easier and you see this stuff, then you put it down, settle, get the shovel, get ready and dig. It's easy to find, right? Now, remember I told you when it was how to make a fossil, it sometimes buries under a river? If you can invent, I don't know if you can, but if you can invent some kind of water thing, that soaks up all the water and you can fill it back in, I guess you could, but I don't think it's really a good idea. If you can do that, or you can just dig in water, I'm not sure you can actually do that. And you find the fossil, or it might be some by a volcano water, like in Hawaii there might be some. You can just dig there, but I am telling you, I'm sure that there shouldn't be a lot of fossils that are hidden in the water. And if it would be like the Sahara it dried up because of the ice age, I think the place that had water would have been dried up, right? But usually the fossil isn't by the water, it's actually like by the water place. That's usually where you would find that. Now, let me tell you some strange things about the Earth you probably didn't know, okay? Now, let me tell you that many people and scientists have believed that there is specific gold underwater. Now, I don't know why people believe that, but it's that people believe when it was the Metal Age, the Bronze Age, and our Stone Age, they used to take baths in the thing, and sometimes they used to lose a little bit of their jewelry. Now, because they have had their fossil dug, they believe that the metal or the gold, whatever they were wearing, it was buried in the water, and then when they were taking the bath, they lost it. They might have not noticed, and that's probably how the gold must have been found. That was very strange, but it's just a believing thing, right? Because if a scientist, we have to clearance that if it's actually true, because some people don't actually find, but I'm pretty sure that's not true. Okay, guys? So this is what I wanted to discuss with you, the secrets of the Earth. And remember, please don't tell anybody about this, okay? And if you have questions, please tell and put it in the comments so I can answer them. Because if you have questions, I love to answer questions, so I can answer them, because I also know a lot about the Earth just the way you do, okay? So if you have questions about other speeches, do the same thing. Please like and comment and subscribe to my channel. It would make me really happy. And guess what? Do it to my other videos too, okay? Have a good day. See you soon. Bye.